In an age where every moment can be captured, filtered, and broadcasted, there's something strangely haunting about the people who choose silence. While the world shouts in selfies and status updates, they watch from the shadows, invisible in a landscape overflowing with noise. Birthdays, coffee mugs, heartbreaks, triumphs, everything finds its way onto a timeline. Yet somewhere behind the scrolling crowd sits someone who never hits post, someone who observes quietly, thinks deeply, and chooses invisibility in a world obsessed with being seen. Most people assume this silence comes from shyness or introversion, but that's only the surface. Beneath that stillness lies a complex psychology, a quiet defiance against a culture that trades authenticity for visibility. For many, silence isn't absence, it's control. It's the ability to decide what the world does not get to know. Because whether we admit it or not, social media has subtly reshaped how we define ourselves. It rewards performance over presence, volume over meaning. And those who remain on the sidelines often see this with unwavering clarity. They scroll without interrupting. They think before reacting. They observe the world unfold without needing to step onto the stage. Psychologists often find that people who rarely post score higher in introspection, emotional independence, and resistance to external validation. These are individuals who aren't trying to prove who they are. They're trying to understand it. And in a digital world built on applause that makes them beautifully unusual. Because the truth is, most of what we post isn't communication, it's identity construction. It's a quiet request for approval wrapped inside a caption. Every photo whispers, "This is me. Do you accept this version?" And when someone steps away from that cycle, something profound begins to shift. The world stops being a performance. Life stops feeling like a highlight reel. Moments stop becoming content. And the value of experience returns to where it belongs, inside the person living it. Not the audience watching it, but silence is not always serenity. For some, the withdrawal is born from exhaustion, a slow burnout from the pressure to present a life polished enough to be worthy of attention. They once posted everything until the performance felt heavier than the moment itself. So they left quietly, not to disappear, but to breathe again, to reclaim the parts of themselves that didn't fit inside a curated square. Others retreat out of fear. Not fear of people, but fear of misinterpretation, of judgment, of being misunderstood in a world that listens fast and reacts faster. Social media amplifies a form of anxiety where every thought feels like a risk and every silence feels like neglect. So some choose the comfort of invisibility, not because they don't want to be seen, but because they want to be seen truly, and that rarely happens online. Yet the irony is unmistakable. The quietest people often carry the loudest inner worlds. They feel deeply, process quietly, and live intensely. They find meaning in details most people scroll past without noticing. The shift of light in a room, the tremble in someone's voice, the stories hidden in ordinary moments. They choose to experience life rather than exhibit it. And in that choice lies a rare kind of freedom. What society often misses is that privacy is not loneliness, it's ownership. The moment you post something, it stops belonging solely to you. It becomes shared property, open to judgment, commentary, misunderstanding. So people who don't post aren't withholding their lives out of emptiness. They're protecting what feels sacred. They're keeping their joy, their grief, their growth untouched by the algorithms that feed on exposure. And maybe that's the quiet lesson they teach the rest of us. That not everything meaningful needs witnesses. That sometimes the moments that shape you most deeply are the ones nobody ever sees. That identity isn't something you perform, it's something you live. Maybe the people who never post aren't hiding. Maybe they've simply remembered something the world has forgotten. That being unseen is not the same as being insignificant. Sometimes it's where the truest parts of us finally get to breathe. If this perspective made you think differently about social media and silence, tell me in the comments. Do you post often, or do you stay invisible? And why? Let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed the storytelling, consider liking the video and subscribing for more thought-provoking breakdowns like this one.